When it comes to selling on eBay, I really do think a lot of us make it way too hard for ourselves. We go ahead and we waste so much time and so much money because we don't focus on the things that just get the result. We focus on everything, and focusing on everything generally means focusing on things that we shouldn't be focusing on. So what I want to do in this video today is just highlight 3 areas of eBay that I believe is an absolute cheat code for you to go ahead and make instant success as an eBay seller. So if you're new and you're just starting out and you're not sure which angle to go down as a seller, well, I think these 3 cheat codes are going to be a perfect way for you to get off and running on your eBay journey. Now, time and money are 2 of the biggest factors when it comes to selling on eBay. You don't want to be wasting time, and you also don't want to be paying for things that aren't going to generate you the return to get you to the goals that you want to achieve as an eBay seller. And I think over the years, what has got worse and worse is thrifting. Thrifting has basically taken up too much of my time over the last couple of years for the return. I'm getting much better returns in other avenues. If I'm out in my local garage sales or my local flea markets, even my private picks that I'm able to generate through this YouTube channel, these are the avenues that are netting a better return for me. We're seeing a lot of thrift store price points going up and up and up now, and we're also having to traipse around to all of these local thrift stores, which is chewing up so much time in our day without us being able to actually go ahead and do much with it because we're not buying much when we go out to our local stores. Have a think about the last time you went thrifting and have a look at how many hours you spend out there versus the return on a profitability front on the items that you actually go on to source. So have a think about that. I'm going to go out to my local thrift stores right now just to show you the state of things right now in my local area and why I think avoiding thrift stores is the ultimate cheat code. Now, while thrifting is bad, I do want to show you something that is great though, and that is Facebook Marketplace. I've got a pickup to show you guys just the power of what it can bring. That's going to be coming up a little bit later in this video, but let's stick to the thrifting scene for now because I've been out here for the last couple of days, and as you'll see, it's been tricky, really tricky. The first one that I've got for you here is this Pentax camera. Now, I love cameras. I think vintage cameras are a really good area to start looking at in thrift stores, literally anywhere. This one was going for about $120 odd, but at $65 in store, it was only going to make me 25 bucks. So based on these thrift store prices, I'm going to have to leave this one behind. This one as well, it's a G-Shock watch. Now, I always look for G-Shock watches because they can do really well. This one was priced at $15, but the battery wasn't working, and they cost about $50 for a new battery. So therefore, I've had to leave that one behind. They only sell for about $45. The DVDs I'm finding really picked out in my local thrift stores. This one here I thought could have been something, but unfortunately it wasn't worth anything in the end, so I had to leave that one behind. But a couple of little consolation prizes here. We've got this Live 8 DVD set for $4 that sells for about $25, and then this one here as well, Raffles, the complete series, again $4 into $25. So it's not much. We've only picked up 2, and I've probably gone to about 4 stores by now. So I've spent an hour and a half looking through these 4 thrift stores, and I'm genuinely trying to find as much profit as I possibly can, and I'm just not coming across many opportunities. So I've made $17 worth of profit on those 2 DVDs that I've been able to find, and I really do think this is sort of the state of thrifting right now. It's just really hard to get it done efficiently. So for that reason, I've looked into other avenues to try and source items, and I'm leaning very heavily at the moment on Facebook Marketplace. I'm just being able to find great deals whenever the opportunities present itself. And if I'm not finding the deals, well, I'm not wasting my time trying to find the deals. I'm just sitting in the comfort of my own home on Facebook Marketplace. So there was a great opportunity, a couple actually, of great opportunities that have popped up over the last few days. And I'm going to run one for you now. Hey there.
Hi,
how you doing? Thank you very much. Cleaning out the games, hey?
He's a hoarder. So I'm doing like a massive clean out.
Right, okay.
I have packed it away. I can unpack it again if you want me to.
No, totally fine.
Yeah.
Unreal.
PS2 in there, PS1 in there.
No other gaming stuff? That's everything?
That's everything. I'm a very good packer.
You are, yeah.
So yeah, there's heaps down there.
Oh, that's awesome. Has he got any other gaming stuff that he wants to get rid of?
He just sold the PS5.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Wow, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
I love the vintage stuff though too.
Well, so do I.
Yeah.
Red Alert was my go-to.
Yep.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yep. Thank you very much.
No worries at all. That's awesome.
Kitty.
Yep, brilliant. Oh, if you come across any other stuff,
yeah,
I'll definitely be interested.
Yeah.
Game Boys, all that sort of old
yeah.
school vintage stuff. I love it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Probably have no time for anything else then, would you?
Nah, it's too good. It's unreal. All right, let's get back home and take a look. All right, so what you're looking at here is a pretty decent pickup, I think, for $200 off Facebook Marketplace. Now, I was intrigued because of the volume, firstly, because when I get these big hauls, I always like to break them up. We always talk about it on this channel, breaking up the games that are worth less than $20. They become individual listings on eBay. And then the rest, you've also got the ability to sell them off for $4 each. That's a bit of a sweet spot price point for eBay pricing when it comes to bulk video games. So the first one that I've got here is I've gone through the PlayStation 1 games, which is just this little collection here. Now these games are going to be listed up individually. I'm pretty certain that the best game out of this little mix of 5 would be this one. This is Oddworld Abe's Exodus actually. So you can get Abe's Odyssey, which goes for some decent money, but this one, Abe's Exodus, goes for about $50 to $60 odd. So being a black label as well, the black PlayStation there tells you that it's the original version. That's going to help the situation there for that. And then we've got a few other ones. I was actually pretty interested, guys. Shane Warne 99 Cricket, that was going for about $30 to $35, and I thought it was going to be a cheap one. So that was really cool to see come through too. Then I've got all of these, which I comped up to be not worth at least $20. There might have been some that were like $18 or $19 odd, but I went ahead and I put them into this bundle. Now there's 8 games in total here that aren't quite hitting my metric. I'm going to sell them today when I go ahead and list them up for $4 a piece. Because that turns into about $32. I'm probably going to put some postage on that though. I'm probably going to list it up for about $40 free postage, and some video game store is going to pick that up in a heartbeat because a few of them, like I said, are worth $18 to $19. But that's just a really great way to recuperate some money back on the overall spend. It just means that when you go on to sell the individual games, you really maximize your return and you do get your top dollar. So I've got to do that process now for all of the PlayStation 3 games. I've got to do it for all of the PlayStation 2 games as well. Just having a look at some of these titles here, I don't actually think there's any true heavy big hitters. I think it's going to be a lot of bread and butter stuff, and potentially it could just be going ahead and lotting them up for $4 a piece and just counting them out. They will still go on to sell, but there was this little mystery bag here as well, which I was actually quite intrigued about because I didn't see any photos of this. The listing on Facebook Marketplace didn't really depict what was in this case. But as you'll see here, there was some really good titles. We've got Ratchet & Clank 3 on the front there, and then I turned it over and I saw Ultimate Spider-Man and Spider-Man as well. Now I think Ultimate Spider-Man is over $100 worth of value. So I don't know, disc only. Unfortunately, I don't have any cases for these games in this folder, so I will have to sell them as disc onlys, which does obviously drop the price point quite considerably. But being a $100 game, I might be able to get some decent money, maybe $30, $40 worth of a disc-only price. We'll have to wait and see. But turning it over, there was some Lara Croft Tomb Raider that was in here. There was Warhammer 4000 Fire Warrior. But then I did see another really good one, and that was this one right here, Simpsons Hit and Run. So Simpsons Hit and Run, $50 to $60 game. Should be able to sell it disc-only for at least $20 to $30, you would think. So that's awesome. So there were some really good games in there that I can do on a disc only. And then finally, you've obviously got the biggest average sale price of them all. You've got the consoles. So I might go ahead and do a bit of cleaning up of this console here for PlayStation 2. It's got a memory card and a controller. And then I've got also a PlayStation 1 with 2 controllers there as well. You typically get about $120 to $140 for these right here. I just think Facebook Marketplace is a cheat code. There is still opportunity out there on Facebook Marketplace for you guys to go and buy the video game category. I'm doing it here. I did it just yesterday as well, which I didn't film. I'll speak about more about that later in the video, but this was just an awesome pickup that I just jumped on Facebook, had a quick search, I found it, I went over there and picked it up, and I've got, well, if you were part-time, days worth of listings here. For me, it's probably going to be about 2 days worth of listings. But for somebody just starting out doing this as a bit of a side hustle, trying to make some money, you could string this out at $100 worth of listings per day, and you'd have probably a week's worth of listings just on this one purchase. So you don't need to go out and buy. It's more important to just go deep into a category, and I really do think the video game one is just a safe bet if you're a beginner seller. And look, you might not be a beginner just yet. Maybe you're on the fence and you're thinking about starting your eBay journey. And that's where the eBay Launch Lab is going to come in really handy. We've got this kicking off this Sunday. Applications are going to get underway and we're going to start to collate a group of people that are going to attack their eBay business for the very first time. So we've got things like a Zoom call once a week, a Facebook group that we're always in communication on. You've got a cash prize, you've got a leaderboard. There's so much going on that's going to keep you accountable and motivated to start the right way and avoid all of those mistakes that I made when I first started selling on eBay 5 years ago. So if you are interested, if you want to bite the bullet and give eBay a go as a profitable side hustle, go ahead and click the link in the description below. There's a wait list there throughout this week, and then I will be emailing all of you on Sunday to let you know that applications are open. So go ahead, add yourself in, and we'll hopefully see you in the lab. All right, guys, let's talk about some sales. We've had a pretty decent month so far. 9 days in, just having a look at the eBay numbers, $3,358 worth of revenue, so we're up 9% overall. The best thing about it is that we've got a $95 average sale price. I've never had a stretch of 9 days where we've averaged a $95 number, so that's really awesome to see. We've had 35 sales collectively come through, so you don't have to sell as many items when you're selling at a $95 average sale price. So that's up by 28%, revenue up by 9%. I'll take you through some sales that we've got to put in the mail, and then I want to talk to you about a $1,500 sale day that we had come through last week. It's absolutely freezing as well, isn't it? I think it's like, I went for my morning walk and it felt like 5 or 6 degrees, which is cold for the Gold Coast. This one is Need for Speed High Stakes on the Sony PlayStation 1. Now, I've been doing a lot of damage on Facebook Marketplace over the last 2 days. I've got one haul that I don't know whether we've edited in where you've already seen that haul, but if not, that's going to be in this video. But there was a second haul that I picked up the day prior as well, and that was a $200 buy that went into about $600 to $700 worth of value. So I'm having a lot of success in the video game category on Facebook Marketplace. But I am buying bundles, so I'm not just buying 1 or 2 items, I'm buying a big stack, and that's turning into some great revenue. Also turning into some great average sale price, because this one sold for $50. I'm going to put a lot of bubble wrap and butcher's paper around that into a box. I just want to protect the PlayStation 1 cases, so I always put those into a box. But $50, this sold in the space of 3 hours on eBay. I've actually also sold, out of all of our consoles that we've got along here, we've sold the pink PlayStation 2 finally, which was a great sale to see come through. We got $380 for that console, which was awesome because I think I listed it up for $400 and I took a best offer. So those sort of unique consoles like a PlayStation 2 pink colorway is always going to go for a top dollar. So I was kind of just knowing of that fact, I tried to hold out for the top dollar, and eventually we got $380, which I think was a pretty good result. Now all of these here Xbox 360 consoles, they're all pretty much console S's, except for the one on top here that's a bit more rattier than the rest. That one's definitely not in working condition. That one's the console E version. So all 3 of these, I just didn't want to spend any time or effort on it. I've just listed up for a bulk price of $110. And then I had somebody message to say that he would buy it, I believe, for $85 for local pickup. So I just figured for local pickup, I don't need to bother to ship it off, which would have cost a lot because it's a super heavy, relatively big item. He's going to come and pick it up for $85. So I was happy to accept the best offer of $110, took $25 off, but that's probably what it would have cost to ship. So in effect, this has come through for its full asking price. And a lot of the times with these sorts of big bulk buys that I do in the video games and the video game consoles, if I've got this sort of a situation going on and I'm making money on the video games or some other consoles that might have came in the bundle, I don't mind doing this every now and again just to get them out of the house. No need to test them when you sell them for parts, and there's still a lot of people out there that want to get them hands on them even if they're not working. Now, this is my little tub down here of all of those old well, they're not old because I've only been up for 30 days. The JB Hi-Fi retail arbitrage purchase that we made. For anyone that missed that video, it's well worth a watch. I bought all of these in a special. It was basically buy one, get one free. So in effect, this would have been $150 worth of value that I bought for $75. And that was collective across all of the DVD box sets or Blu-ray box sets they actually were when I saw that deal. So I only had 1 day to act. I've probably sold, as a bit of an update, about half of what I bought in that video within 30 days, which I think is fantastic. They're obviously brand new and sealed. They're all complete series sets. This one's Game of Thrones. Sold this one on a best offer for 140. I had it priced up for 150. Got a $10 reduction in a best offer, and I thought absolutely, because I bought it for 75. I'll ship it off for no more than $10 to $12. I think that's a really big win. So we've got a bunch more there. There's a few more in here. It's pretty much just this tub and this tub worth of Blu-rays that are left over. But there were probably 4 tubs after I bought on that day. There were quite a number that I purchased. I think I spent about $2,500 to make $1,000 in profit when it's all said and done. So we're probably at the point now where we're probably at a break even, and then when all of these go on to sell, that's going to be our profit. So it was a big success. Now this one certainly bumped up the average sale price to $95 this month. We have got soccer, Elite Soccer, on the Nintendo Game Boy. It's in a hard protector case. It has its original box. I won't open it up and break it all down, but it's got its manual, it's got its insert, and it's got a really nice condition game in here as well. Now, you're probably looking at this like I was when I first got it, and you're thinking it's no more than maybe $40 to $50 because the game Elite Soccer, it's not really worth a lot. It's the complete opposite. It's worth a ton. And I actually took a ridiculously low best offer because I think there were sales upwards of $500 to $600. I know, just nuts. And I almost didn't believe it. There were a couple of comps on eBay saying that was the price point for this thing. So I think I listed mine up for about $400 or so. I think it was $400 that I listed it for. We sold it for $310, and we got $35 of international shipping. It's going to the USA. So again, purchased out of a big private pick. You're not to know what you get some of the times when you buy so much stuff in a private haul. But this was certainly one game that was worth listing up individually. And we got a lot of our money back on that private buy in just this one item. So the video game category, it's been about 60% of our sales. We're actually trumping these DVDs with the video game category. And as you can see by this wall, this is all we have for video games. They just sell. They just sell super, super quick. And all of this over here is all of our DVDs. But to be honest with you, I've got a lot of partial DVD sets, and they aren't selling as fast because they're partial. You see the Game of Thrones sell, that was a complete series set. So when I'm buying these, I'm only buying the complete series sets now. I'm not buying any partials and then waiting to try and find them down the line. I'm no longer doing that. So I do need to go through and cull out a few of these listings from the store. But when it comes to these, we can go ahead and list them up as big bulk bundles if they are less than $20 worth of an average sale price. But if they're more than $20, we can list them up individually. Now, I don't have on this wall here any bulk listings because the bulk listings go within 24 hours. They go instantly. So all of these games here are worth over $20 and they're selling really, really fast. So it's a great category. If I could recommend anybody out there, dig tooth and nail wherever you can to try and find connections to source this category because it is a cheat code. If you can sell video games on eBay regularly, you'll do really, really well. So there's really not a lot of shipping to do. I've got 3 sales to put into the mailbag over there, and I've done a couple of sales the night before. So really 6 sales over the last 24 hours. It hasn't been too bad of a period, especially when the average sale price on each of these sales is nice and high. So I can't recommend it more, guys. Make sure that you're looking for those high average sale price type items and kind of say no to the rest. It's just giving extra hours of work, effort and energy that isn't going to net you a great return once you do eventually go on to sell it. It's always these higher average sale price type items that sell a little bit faster than the rest, at least from my experience anyway. So what I want to do is I want to take you through some sales that came through last week. Now, I don't normally do this. I don't normally backtrack a week and go through some sales from a time period prior. But I wanted to show you this because I'm averaging about $300 to $400 worth of revenue in my eBay business every single day. It's on autopilot based on my input from a listing perspective. But this random day on Wednesday, the 2nd of July, brought in $1,579. I was blown away, not only for the fact that it was such a high revenue day, but for the fact that all of my big ticket items sold in that same single day. It was quite madness, and I should have turned the camera on and documented it. The sales just kept coming through. So I wanted to take you through some of those results. The first one is this one. It's Manhunt, the final cut on the Sony PlayStation 2. It's a promo disc, so it's quite rare. These promo discs are definitely sought after, and collectors love to find them. Manhunt was actually a banned PlayStation 2 game as well back in the day when it was first released. banned in a few countries. So this is a super rare title. It came in a private pick from one of my friends, Aiden, who was able to buy out a massive eBay business full of video games. And then I did consignment with him, and I took a few of the games off that haul that he'd been able to pick up. And we've been selling it off here at 50% profit to the both of us once it's all said and done. So Manhunt, I reckon we would have made about $200 each after fees, postage, cost of goods, and GST that I take out of it. The next one here is Pokemon Coliseum. I sold this for $400 5 minutes after Manhunt came through for $450. So insane to almost get about, what's that, $850, $900 in the space of just 5 minutes with 2 transactions. That was a really cool moment. But Pokemon Coliseum, this one came through off Facebook Marketplace. It was just a Facebook Marketplace with a bunch of different GameCube games, and it didn't even show it in the listing. It was just sitting there in the corner, no real attention being paid to it. So I went over there and I picked it up, and I didn't even know what it was worth. I just knew that it was Pokemon, so it might be okay. Turns into being a really, really rare game worth $400 to $500. We got a full asking price there of $400. So Facebook Marketplace for video games is the place that I would look. You'd be amazed at what does pop up every now and again. So then a couple of hours went by, and I was pretty happy. I thought that was going to be the entirety of my day's worth of sales, because I was 3 times what I normally do. But then we had this. We had Bratz. Bratz came in. Now, this was the last of our Bratz dolls that we picked up at a thrift store. We paid $100 for 5 different Bratz dolls, $100 each, I should say. We paid $500 because these things are super collectible and they are super sought after. Now, there was a bit of yellowing on this one that we had, but we were able to sell it for $249. We were still able to make significant profit. So I can't recommend the Bratz dolls more, guys. As much as I'm doing media now, with what I'm selling, I'm always going to pick up these Bratz dolls whenever I see it, because I know the collector's market is huge. And then after that, I was having dinner. I was sitting at home thinking, no way in the world. We've done over $1,000 today. Will I get another good sale? And we did. We got Pokemon Ruby go on to sell. Now, this Pokemon Ruby actually came out of the Pokemon Coliseum Facebook Marketplace pickup. So $149.95. The beauty of these ones are you can put them into a medium track post envelope for just $6.50. So that was awesome to see that one come through. It topped me up to about $1,200 or $1,300 odd dollars. And I thought, surely not. But as you've seen, $1,579 has come through. And in large part, it was because of this one here. This is a Nintendo 64 genuine controller, clear blue, and it's Japanese, brand new and sealed in its box. We got $99.95, and this one as well came off the consignment deal that I had with Aiden. We're obviously able to pick up that game that I was talking about earlier, Manhunt, and this one was also in here as well. So I've coded this one up, and we both made ourselves about $35 in profit on that one there. So generally speaking, guys, it is the video game category that I'm seeing fantastic results in. So a $1,500 day, I had to tell you about it. How cool's that? My third cheat code is store maintenance. This is something that a lot of us as eBay sellers completely neglect. We have all of these tubs listed up onto eBay, and then we kind of do nothing about it. We just kind of let it just sit and it goes on to sell whenever it sells. That's not the answer. The answer is to make sure that you are always attending to the previous listings that you've gone ahead and put all of that work in to get set up. You can end and sell similar those listings to always keep them fresh, manipulating the price point to make sure you're always within market. Changing photos and titles is really, really important, yet a lot of us don't do it. I think taking a stock take on your inventory every 6 months is a really important step that a lot of us just aren't doing, and we need to make sure that we're doing our store maintenance on a very consistent basis. At least once a week, attend to the products that you've got in your store. I think is going to go a long way to getting those old listings just out the door and sold. Getting a store subscription, utilizing coupons, utilizing the markdown sales as well are other great avenues of store maintenance to try and get these products to move. So don't just constantly think about the next purchase, the next sourcing trip. Actually just take note, take stock hold of what you've got currently and try and make sure that you're on an efficient setup of getting it to sell in a good space of time. So one sale for every 100 active listings is the efficiency number that you're trying to get. So if you're a 200 item store, you should have a 90-day total, if you've been doing it for 90 days, of about 180 sales. So 200 active, 180 sold. Now, if you're not there, I dare say it's because you're not doing enough store maintenance. It's a huge cheat code for those that are doing it because they're staying on top of their product and they're ensuring that the sell-through rate remains nice and high. So I can't stress that enough, guys. Get away from thrift stores. Make sure you're finding those high ASP products only, especially if you're only doing it as a side hustle. And then obviously store maintenance. Play with the products that you've got actively listed and make sure that they get out the door as quick as possible. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video, guys. I'm going to leave you with this video right here. It was another crazy day at the local flea market. We'll be there again this Sunday. We'll see you over there for that one.